You don't need Hollywood, you don't need a label, and you definitely don't need thousands of dollars to make a cinematic masterpiece. I made this entire Afrobeats music video completely alone here at home with a budget of exactly $0 or RON, depending on what currency you use. No camera crew, no artificial lighting or a lighting team, just me with a vision and a lot of patience. This video took roughly 6 hours to make, from the filming to the last render. My goal was to create a storyline that I could do totally by myself without needing somebody else or a group of people, and to give that rich, vibrant summer vibes that Afrobeats demand. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. EET, the full video drops, but today I'm going to show exactly how I pulled off this illusion. First off, the sets. Now, I didn't use anything artificial when it comes to the lighting, but rather I chose a spot with great natural warm lighting and used it to my advantage. When I spoke of Afrobeats having like that rich summer vibe, that was exactly what I needed, something warm, something summer, something natural. For styling, I chose a personal look that matched the aesthetic, that matched the vibe, that matched the energy, and just something that I could feel comfortable with while maybe moving my body a little, since the music video also has a little bit of dancing, and something that really matched the spots I chose. You need to match the background of what you're doing in general. Your makeup needs to look on point, because some cameras really have a good way of capturing all those colors. It's really important and it makes a huge difference, more than people realize. Now let's talk about gear. A lot of people get the hype of using an iPhone at least in order to create things like this, but I am telling you that you do not need an iPhone. If anything, this was shot on an Android, and all you really need is a phone or whatever you're using to film, to have a very clear camera lens. Okay, if your lenses are dirty, clean it. Clean it, and clean it with something clean. Okay, so you also need to make sure that you are filming in 4K if possible, in 4K 60 FPS. If you don't have 60 FPS and you only have 30, that's totally fine. Another thing is that you are going to turn off the filters. If you have any blemishes, whatever you want to cover, you can do it on the editor, or you can do that with some makeup. But you are going to make sure that you turn off any sort of retouches, any sort of filter, and try to film with a back camera. Now, this implies to whether you're using an Android or an iPhone. Use the back camera, okay? Yeah, some people, they don't like how they look with a back camera, and that is totally understandable. But if you want the best quality when it comes to something like this, music video making or filming, anything like this in general, you need to get the best quality out of it. Apart from the camera, you need something to hold your device. You need something to hold your phone, your camera, whatever. And since this video is about how I made it totally alone, I'm going to talk about, using a tripod, because that was what I used. If you don't want to do it totally alone, you can call a friend, you can call whoever you want to do the filming for you. But in this case, I had to use an adjustable tripod, which is very, very flexible and versatile. You can make it longer, you can make it shorter, you can just adjust it however you want. You can change the angles and so on. If you have one of those tripods with built-in keyframes, that will also be a huge advantage. But in this case, I am going to explain how I did it personally, which was with a simple, okay, not so simple, but it was with an adjustable tripod. And this tripod can literally fit in your bag. Okay, so you can take it almost anywhere if it's not an inconvenience. Another tip about filming I forgot to mention is that if your exposure is too high, maybe due to the natural lighting or just the lighting around, you might want to just manually, adjust it, put it down, reduce the exposure. And in order to shoot and lip sync to the song, I had my laptop in the background playing the song I wanted on Spotify. You can use whatever as long as the song is playing in the background and you are the one lip syncing to it. Now, what you're gonna do is that you are going to make about as many clips as you can, as many clips as you feel like is going to be okay. If you made one bad decision during your first clip, or you feel like you don't like the way you looked in that clip, do it again. Don't delete that one. Just keep going, keep going. For this music video, I made about 20 clips. 20 clips, okay, from the beginning to the end, and making these clips took about an hour. So filming in general took an hour to make. Now here's a little trick that was used in the music video. If you've seen the teaser, you would see that it all started with a phone call and that I was with somebody in that phone call. Well, to burst a bubble, it was nobody on the call and it was totally just me talking to myself basically. I used the recording app on my phone, said a couple of replies which I thought would fit the scenario. I opened BandLab, adjusted the tempo, I took it back to about -2 or so, to make it sound more masculine. Of course, at first it sounded a bit unnatural until I added the telephone presets on BandLab still and just made some minor adjustments like turning off the delay. And that was how I was able to create the dialogue on CapCuts, after making the whole thing and exporting it from BandLab. I just adjusted it and used whatever replies that fits the call. About lip syncing, one question I always get asked is how do your clips change so fast and how does the lip sync fit so perfectly? Well, here's a little not so secret workflow. First of all, on the CapCuts app, after, like I previously said, recording or rather filming 20 different clips, not so different, just you lip syncing to the song. Maybe you can have different performances and so on. You basically drag the song you want first in your CapCut project. And when you have your audio, your song file there, what you're gonna do is that you find whatever you want. You find either a clip that is as long as your audio or an image and just drag it to the end of the audio. And what you're gonna do is that you split the parts where you want the transitions to happen. And those clips or snippets between the splits are exactly where you're going to replace your pre-recorded clips to match the lip syncs depending on what matches the audio or what you basically want. For somebody who uses a tripod, obviously, how do I get the motion? How do I create the effects that looks like somebody is maybe coming closer to me or, moving around? First and foremost, I made sure to film myself in ways that I could, be it maybe only my face showing and my hands doing the movements, like moving the tripod with my own hands while filming. But for moments when I couldn't use my hands, maybe filming my whole body or half of my body when my hands could still visibly show, I used keyframes on CapCuts. Now you can find tutorials on how to use keyframes, but when you do get the hang of it, it's quite easy. It's more about the zooming and movements. I used two filters. First of all, I used one of the movie category filters on CapCut and then used another. I remember that one of them was Dreadpool, if that helps. And then I used another which I forgot its name, but I reduced it a little, not using the whole filter, else it would look too orangey or too brown, okay, which is less cinematic and more vintage, which was what I was not anticipating for. And of course that wasn't enough. I still did a little bit of adjustments, maybe increasing the contrast, sharpness, maybe reducing shadows and so on to still get that look I had imagined. Oh, and for the lyrics, a lot of people are quite aware of CapCut's auto lyrics, which in most cases isn't free after a couple of trials. And yeah, I didn't use it basically. I kind of used the same technique I use for the clips for the text. Like I use one text and just adjusted it to the end of the video from the starting point of the lyrics to the ending point. I split where I wanted a transition of the lyrics and just wrote the lyrics or copy and paste it from Music Match or wherever I have my lyrics saved. Everything was edited and exported from my laptop in 4K. I don't remember the FPS, but in 4K, and which was later scheduled on YouTube to be released tomorrow, or just upload it tomorrow since the song is already released. But yeah, the music video tomorrow. So I guess that is just how it was done from start to finish. You don't need a huge budget, and it's okay if you have a budget. It's okay if you want it more like Hollywood. It's okay if you want it more to your style, and if you can and you want to, go for it. It's all your choice at the end of the day, and this is just how I made this happen. And this is to show you that you can make it happen as well, and not necessarily think that things like this are impossible, especially for a starting artist or an artist who wants no budget at all. Obviously, the look of the music video can't be as perfect as Hollywood. It all depends on experience, because videography in general is not something that you learn within a couple of weeks or a couple of days or even a couple of months. And even if you do learn it after a couple of years, you are still going to learn. And I am still learning, of course. And even if it's not what a lot of people would describe as perfect, it's still captivating enough to keep your audience entertained, especially here on YouTube. If you want to see the full video, stay updated tomorrow at 7 p.m. EET here on YouTube. Goodbye.